All right, sports fanatics and casual browsers alike, gather round. We've all seen incredible plays, right? Shots that defy expectation, passes that bend reality. But what if I told you about a goal so utterly, ridiculously, physically improbable that even scientists scratched their heads for years? A goal that was, by all accounts, impossible. Until one man decided to ignore the memo. We're talking about a moment so iconic, it practically has its own gravitational pull. Get ready to have your mind, and maybe a few laws of physics, completely blown. This is the story of the impossible goal. Our protagonist, the one and only Roberto Carlos, a Brazilian left-back, known less for his defensive prowess and more for having a left foot that could launch a small satellite. This wasn't just a powerful shot, it was a cannon attached to a human leg. He was the kind of player who didn't just kick the ball, he entered a full-contact negotiation with it. You knew when Carlos was lining up a free kick, something ridiculous was about to happen. But nobody, and I mean nobody, was prepared for this level of ridiculousness. The stage for this magic was set in 1997, during the Tournoi de France. It was a friendly tournament, a prelude to the World Cup, but still packed with prestige. Brazil, with their samba flair, against the formidable hosts, France. The atmosphere was buzzing, the stakes were low enough for players to try things, but high enough to care. And then, a free kick. A routine setup, really. Or so everyone thought. Little did they know, they were about to witness a moment that would transcend football and enter the realm of legendary physics experiments. The ball was placed. A free kick, about 35 meters, or 115 feet, from the goal. Now, for the non-soccer fans, that's far. Really far. You usually cross it from there, or try a cheeky lob. You don't usually shoot from there unless you're trying to impress the seagulls or aiming for a hot dog vendor in the stands. This distance screams impossible direct shot. But Roberto Carlos, as we've established, wasn't about conventional wisdom. He was about bending the ball, and occasionally, bending reality itself. Carlos steps up, takes his signature, ridiculously long run-up. It looked less like a sprint and more like he was trying to qualify for a track event. He plants his foot, and then bam. The contact. The ball rockets off his boot with an estimated speed of 137 kilometers per hour. That's 85 miles per hour for my American friends. For context, that's faster than most speed limits. This wasn't a gentle tap. This was a declaration of war on the air molecules in front of it. And initially, it looked like a very polite declaration, because the ball went way off. And this is where the impossible truly begins. The ball's initial trajectory? It was veering dramatically to the far right of the goal. Like, wildly right. So much so that anyone watching, including the very confident French goalkeeper Fabien Barthez, probably thought, well, that's certainly not going in. Even the ball boy was probably mentally prepping to retrieve it from behind the advertising boards. It was a shot destined for the corner flag, maybe even another postcode. It was heading out. Case closed, right? Wrong. Oh, so very wrong. But then, the impossible happened. Just when it seemed like the ball was on a one-way trip to oblivion, it performed a U-turn that would make a seasoned taxi driver blush. It dramatically, incredibly, unbelievably curved left. It didn't just slightly adjust, it took a hard left, defied gravity, and kissed the inside of the post before nestling perfectly into the net. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated sorcery. My jaw, your jaw, everyone's jaw, collectively hit the floor. This wasn't football. This was a magic trick with a leather sphere. Goal. The net rippled, the crowd erupted, but there was also a collective pause. A moment of did that just happen? Barthez, the French keeper, didn't move. He stood there, like a statue contemplating the meaning of life, probably thinking the ball was going out. And then it was in. He looked stunned, betrayed by the very air molecules he was supposed to defend. It was less a goal and more a betrayal of physics, leaving everyone, from players to pundits, completely baffled. The sheer audacity of it all was breathtaking. So, why didn't Barthez move? Did he just give up? No. The best keepers in the world, like Barthez, read the game. They anticipate. and every single fiber of his goalkeeping instinct told him that ball was going out. It was so far wide, so clearly off target, that moving would have been wasted energy. He made the logical, professional call based on all known laws of soccer ball trajectories. It just so happened that Roberto Carlos was playing by a different set of rules that day. Rules he might have invented on the spot, frankly. Instantly, this goal wasn't just a highlight reel clip. It was an enigma. It was dubbed the banana shot for its ridiculous curve, and later, more fittingly, the impossible goal. Pundits, players, and anyone with eyeballs couldn't stop talking about it. Replays were scrutinized, angles debated, and everyone had a theory. Was it the wind? A faulty ball? Or did Roberto Carlos just possess some kind of secret superpower we didn't know about? Spoiler alert, the answer is a little bit of science, a whole lot of power, and a dash of pure, unadulterated Carlos magic. And here's where it gets really fun. Scientists got involved. When something defies common sense, physicists start rubbing their hands together. This wasn't just a cool goal. It was a real-world physics problem. Academics from all corners of the globe, armed with equations and simulations, dove deep into the aerodynamics of a football. They analyzed every millisecond of that shot, every degree of spin. The consensus? It was anomalous and random to some, miraculous to others. But they all agreed, this wasn't supposed to happen. So, what's the secret sauce? It all comes down to something called the Magnus effect. No, it's not a new Netflix series, though it should be. The Magnus effect is a phenomenon where the spin on a ball creates a force perpendicular to the direction of the spin. Think of it like this. When a ball spins, it drags air faster on one side and slower on the other. This creates a pressure difference, and voila, the ball gets pushed towards the lower pressure side. It's why curveballs curve and golf balls slice. Basically, spin makes things bend. Now, Roberto Carlos didn't consciously think, I'm going to apply a precise amount of topspin and sidespin to maximize the Magnus effect today. He just hit the ball like a freight train. But his unique kicking technique, combined with the sheer power he generated, imparted an incredible amount of spin on that ball. His foot acted like a giant, super powerful topspin racket. The ball, moving at 85 miles per hour, initially veered right due to the spin. But then, as it slowed ever so slightly, the Magnus effect took over with a vengeance, pulling it back left. It wasn't just the spin, though. It was a perfect storm of variables. The initial speed of 137 kilometers per hour, the 35-meter distance, the exact amount of spin, and even factors like air density and humidity that day. For a brief, glorious moment, everything aligned. The ball's speed dropped just enough for the sideways force of the Magnus effect to become dominant. It wasn't just a curve. It was a hyperbola curve, a trajectory that literally bent outwards before swooping inwards. Like, if you drew it on a whiteboard, your teacher would mark it wrong. So, could it be replicated? Scientists, naturally, tried. They used a fixed cannon in laboratory conditions, meticulously controlling for speed, spin, and air. And guess what? They did manage to replicate the impossible trajectory. The catch. It required a machine. A human leg, especially one attached to a body in motion, can't consistently achieve that perfect blend of power and spin at such a precise angle. So, while science proved it could be done, it also highlighted just how freakishly precise Carlos's shot was. It's like building a rocket ship with a sledgehammer. This brings us to the big question. Was it genius or a glorious fluke? Some physicists argue it was so anomalous, so precise in its chaotic variables, that it was essentially a random event. A once-in-a-lifetime cosmic alignment of ball, boot, and atmosphere. Others see it as a testament to Carlos's raw, unrefined power and intuitive understanding of how to hit a ball. Maybe he didn't know the exact physics, but he knew how to make the ball do things. I mean, who cares if it was a fluke? It was his fluke. And it was spectacular. Regardless of the scientific debates, the impossible goal remains etched in football history. It's the kind of moment that makes you believe in magic, even if you know it's just really, really complicated physics. It lives on in highlight reels, in scientific papers, and in the collective memory of anyone who saw it. It taught us that sometimes what seems physically impossible on paper can, for a fleeting second, become gloriously real through sheer power, technique, and maybe a little bit of cosmic intervention. Roberto Carlos didn't just score a goal, he redefined what a goal asterisk could be star. So what's the takeaway from Roberto Carlos's impossible goal? It's a reminder that even when all the odds, and indeed all the laws of physics, seem stacked against you, sometimes you just hit it with everything you've got. And maybe, just maybe, you'll create your own moment of impossible brilliance. So next time someone tells you something can't be done, remember the banana shot. Remember Roberto Carlos. And then go out there and prove them wrong. Because impossible, as it turns out, is just a strong suggestion. Thanks for watching.